And if you are not attending the class, unfortunately, what is going to happen is that you will probably miss out those points, not write those points, and write many other things which are not necessarily relevant. They're probably not incorrect. Some of them may be incorrect because you may be collecting it from various sources and not all of them are authentic sources. But more importantly, some of them may be irrelevant to the question. Okay. So my first advice to you would be to attend the classes. Now the classes are almost over. So if you have missed attending the classes, at least go through the recordings and the study material, because most of my questions have a very precise answer. And those answers have been discussed in class, not once, multiple times. Those keywords, those terms, those points have been discussed and explained. Now, they expected that you will answer, uh, your answer would be aligned to specifically what has been discussed in class. For example, let's say if there's a question on Clayton Christensen's model, there are specific 5 characteristics that have been discussed. Now, if you don't write those specific characteristics that have been discussed, and you might have got it from some other source, or you might, I don't know, in some cases, it appeared to me that these answers are from ChatGPT. I don't know what was the proctoring mechanism, so I cannot comment on that. I'm not against ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, I always support using ChatGPT. You have seen that. But ChatGPT, you must understand, ChatGPT is essential or helps in reducing your solution space. That means what would be the possible answers? It does not necessarily give you the exact answer. So even if you're using ChatGPT, you have to take the output from the ChatGPT and figure out what should be included, what should not be included, what should be modified. So I've seen many answers which, because of this, has become absolutely irrelevant. Okay, even though I mean some of them actually would have got probably 1 or 2 out of 6, but I don't want to kind of fail anybody. So I've given more marks, 3, 6, and even after that, some of you have appealed for reevaluation. Okay, so unfortunately, I would say 90% of the cases of re-evaluation, there are many re-evaluation. 90% cases there is no. I'd probably say 95% cases there is no change in marks, because there will not be any change in marks, because what is written is not relevant to the question. Each question has a specific. So if there is a let's say there's a question on what apply Clayton Christensen's model to disruption of music industry. There are 5 characteristics, and you have to map those 5 characteristics to music industry. So oversized market, you have to say in a music industry for a particular, so you have to first define what is the incumbent, what is the um, challenger, and then say incumbent, this is what this particular feature was being overserviced. So instead of that, if you write 10 pages, it will not help. You will anyway get a 0. Probably will get less marks, because when you write more, that's the second point, that most of my answers. So first point is that you need to attend classes, and you need to, if you have not attended, missed some for some reason, you have to go. There is no solution, because you will lose out. If you try to get input from books or from other sources, you are likely to spend more effort, okay, and B, you are likely to go wrong or irrelevant. If not wrong, irrelevant for the answer. So the golden rule is go through my classes. Most of the classes I have discussed the important points which will come as a question. So you don't have to look anything else. If you go through my classes, you will know what the questions are. You almost will know what the questions are. Okay. So that's the easiest way and the best way to get good marks. Okay. And not only marks, to have your conceptual clarity. Because otherwise there's no point in having classes, right? We could have just given you a textbook. It's like open university examination, where you have given some textbooks and reading material, and you just appear for the examination. There's no need for any classes. The need for classes is because everything that is there in the textbook, you need to concise that. Everything that is available from different sources may not be correct. So just because something is written in a book, that doesn't mean that's correct, unless that's an authoritative book. So you also have to understand that something is written in some book, that doesn't mean that that is correct or that is appropriate, at least for the purpose. So that's point number one. Point number two, many of your answers are extremely verbose. So that's the normal tendency. That's the tendency from our school days, that the perception is that if I write more, something will hit somewhere. Okay, so if I write, it's like the old adage of Hanumanji bringing the mountain. Okay, so somewhere you will find the right answer. It actually reduces your marks. Okay, so I specifically give less marks to answers that are very verbose and that are not to the point. For the simple reason that if you are writing a lot of things, again going back to the Hanumanji adage, right? If you have pulled up the mountain, that means what? That means you didn't know where the particular thing lies, and you are taking help from somebody else. So if you don't know what is the answer, you will probably write everything. So if you write everything, it's an indication that you don't know the answer. Somewhere inside the fine print, your answer may be hidden, but that doesn't help. Okay, because you don't know this is the specific answer. So most of my questions, the answers will not exceed, let's say, between maximum 10 to 12 lines. Within 10 to 12 lines, you either get the answer or you don't get the answer. Okay. If you're writing more than that, then be sure that you are on the wrong track. So that's another thing. Okay. And the third thing is this mixture of writing online versus scanning and uploading the printed copies. Now, this is not something that is completely in your hand. I understand the examination system that is where you have to write in a answer script paper and then take photograph and upload it. Is quite cumbersome. As I can, if I had to do it, I also it has been very cumbersome for me. But if that is the process, okay, you have to understand how to work around that process. For example, obviously, if you are taking a photograph of what you've answered and uploading it, you have to ensure that your answer, your writing is legible. Because in some way, if your writing is not legible, unfortunately, there's no way for the faculty to figure out what you have written because it's not a physical printed copy. And what is the way to get around it? Write in bullets. Okay, wherever required, write in capital letters. Nobody is testing you on your English language skills. Okay, so if you write in bullets, if you write in bigger fonts, if you write in capital letters, then you are sure that your answer is legible. Okay, if your answer is not legible, one or couple of cases I've seen, the photo itself is very hazy. There's no way to figure out what exactly people have written. So at least if you write, first of all, before you upload, you must check what kind of photograph you are submitting. Is it, because you can easily check in your phone that is the photograph come clearly or it has come hazily. If it is hazy, you have a risk, right? If your answer is not readable, then there's no way the faculty can evaluate you properly. Okay, and if you write in bold, in bullet points, giving some space, then obviously there's a better chance for the faculty to read what you've written. So if you remember these three things, I think you will do much better. Otherwise, I know a lot of people have given re-evaluation. And as I said, most of the cases, there is no upward revision to your marks because most of the cases they have written things which are not relevant. Okay, in some cases, probably your marks would have been less just because I don't want to give a very low marks. I've given you, reasonable marks. So just remember that, and there's no substitute of going through my sessions because many of the things you will not find in books. If you find in books, it will be hard for you to find where, in which book it is given, because I don't teach from any specific book, because it's not something that is available in one particular textbook. And third is that many of the things may, what I discuss may deviate from what is written in the. So yeah, so just be careful about these three things. The syllabus of the end term examination is a complete syllabus, as you know. However, there'll be more focus on areas that have been covered after the midterm. For example, the platform model of business. Okay, the for example, platform model of business. I've done enough exercises, and there are specific answers. So same side effect, cross side effect. Okay, there are specific answers to that. Okay, so uh, just drawing the diagram and giving same side, cross side, which one is same side, cross side. That's 4 or 5 lines is good enough to explain. So platform model is one. Then the entire machine learning thing that we have discussed, some of the mathematics, the confusion matrix that we have done. Okay, then the Industry 4.0 blockchain. Okay. And today we are going to discuss something called 5 domains, which is from a book from the textbook that you actually has been referred to, which is the David Rogers book. So we'll just summarize what is there. So those are the things that typically will be more focused in more important for your end-term examination. However, the syllabus is from the entire course. So do not exclude Clayton Christensen's model, digitization of physical products. Those things we already have been covered in the midterm. Okay. So any questions before we move forward? Any questions on this or and any questions on the project that you're doing?
Sir, about
Yes,
the
Usha.
rotational assignment and the quiz which has come.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yes, this, as I mentioned, the course outline was created before I took over this course. I think some other faculty was supposed to take the course. So that's why the course outline was created before I took over. Now, since the course outline is published, I checked with the institute, we have to adhere to that, which essentially means that there'll be these two components. Okay. And that's why I've made it quite easy. There is a very simple quiz of 5 questions, which you can answer. And there's a simple, I think, one assignment that I give. Okay. Which is called a rotational assignment, means that it's supposed to be a continuous one, but then I've given you a one-time assignment. Okay.
About the rotational assignment, sir, it's in the software tool which we did in one of our sessions. We can just take the screenshots. How do you want us to?
No. It that this your it's the predictive model, right?
Yeah, the classification model.
Yeah, classification model. Yeah. So just check if you can upload the NIME file. Okay. So you can download the NIME file and upload it. So check if the NIME file can be uploaded in the LMS. Okay. If it can be uploaded, then you should upload the NIME file. Okay, because that shows the working.
Calculation. Okay.
Yeah. If not, why I'm saying if not is because I don't know whether all file types are accepted while upload. Okay, it's possible that only PDF or JPEG or this kind of types are uploaded. So if you see that there is a problem in uploading the file types, then what you have to do, you have to upload the screenshots, but because then it's just a screenshot, I will not have any access to the files. You have to show the screenshots of all the configuration that you have done, okay, and the output. That means the confusion matrix, the decision tree. So these outputs, you have to take the screenshots of those because I can't see those in the file. So I'll only see the workflow in the file, and there's no way for me to figure out whether the workflow is right or wrong. Hmm?
Yeah, I tried extracting, sir. It didn't work. So by step, like one step after each, we are including the pop-up window for configurations. I've taken a screenshot if that works.
Yeah,
I
that
can
will,
send it.
but is it
Okay.
that the file is not getting uploaded, the NIME file?
No, I didn't get the file download. I mean, where to download that option?
Okay, okay. I'll show you where you can, how you can download the file. Okay, I'm not sure if
Okay.
I've shown you before. Okay, so I'll show you, but just check because the file type is a 9 file. So just check if you are able to download the file. No, you will be able to download the file, but whether you are able to upload the file. Okay. If you are not able to upload this particular file type, then you give the screenshots. Otherwise, screenshots is not required. You just upload the file.
Okay.
Any other questions on end term and assignment? I hope the other assignment, the group assignment, is going on fine. And again, I'm repeating that it is your responsibility to be a part of the group. Okay. And when you submit the assignment, mention the names and the roll numbers of the group members. If some member I do not find a part of any of the group, unfortunately, I'll not be able to score that member. Okay. And all the members submit the same file. Okay, so that I can give the marks in the in the Taxila itself.
What kind of questions will come in AC3 because now it is going to be open book? Will the pattern be same as it was in AC2?
Yeah, the pattern will be same, mostly application based. Okay. Like you have discussed about blockchain, you have discussed about industry 4.2. Okay. There'll be certain use cases given. But again, as I mentioned, that try to be specific and to the point, because most of them will have specific and to the point answers.
Okay, sir.
Professor, this
Yes.
group assignment needs to be submitted by everyone or only one of the team member?
No, all the team members submits the same assignment. Okay, because it has to be updated. The marks have to be updated in Taxila. Okay, so the same assignment is submitted by all the teams.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
And in the front page of your document that you submit, you need to mention the names of the group members who have worked in your group. Okay.
Sure, Professor. Thank you.
And again, another important clarification that all members in the group will get the same marks. Okay. So it's not possible for me to assess the individual contributions in each group. Okay. So it is for you to manage that everybody in the group contributes equitably. Okay, at a later point of time, if some group members, let's say, come to me saying that such and such group member did not contribute at all, and they had no contribution in the project, etc. This kind of thing happens, by the way. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to intervene or do anything about it. Okay, so it is your responsibility to ensure that the load is equitably distributed. And if it is not equitably distributed, that's an individual group's issue. I will not be intervening on that, because it's not possible for me to know who has contributed and who has not contributed. Okay. Great. Any other questions? Okay, good. So we will talk about this book. I don't know, is this textbook given to you? This textbook, what is referred in your course outline, which is the 5 domains of digital transformation by David Rogers.
No, sir.
Okay, so when a textbook is recommended, what is the expectation? You procure the textbook, or how is it? Because otherwise,
So we are required to buy ourselves.
you are required to buy on your own. Okay. I don't know if you have bought it. Okay.
No,
If you have not bought it, don't worry. Okay, it's not something that you need to really buy. It's not a seminal book that kind of requires to be kept. But yes, it is in fact, usually, I don't always refer to this book in this course, in this kind of course, because it's just it doesn't take a lot of time to actually understand what is being talked about in this book. But since this is a part of your textbook, so it's important that I cover this. Okay, but I don't think you should spend money to buy it. Okay, so it's not required. In fact, if you go through this PPT, I'll upload this PPT later on. This has a more or less a overall summary of what the book says. Okay, it's a kind of high level generic book like any strategy book, and usually I I read this kind of books in a pinch of salt because I find them a little superficial and some of them pretty self-explanatory. They don't go much in depth. So that's why I don't subscribe to this kind of books, because especially digital transformation and these kind of things are subjects which are where you can form the strategy only when you know the technology. You cannot form a strategy without having understanding of technology. It's not something like sales and distribution where some general information, general knowledge will help you. These are very specialized knowledge. Okay, and I've mentioned this multiple times in my class. So if you really need to lead a digital transformation in your organization, you need to have a very thorough knowledge of technology. Okay, without a knowledge of technology, I don't think anybody can lead a digital transformation. Okay, it's like saying that he will build he will manage a Burj Khalifa project without being a civil engineer. Okay, it's as good as saying this. So there are some technical knowledge that is required to manage this kind of projects. Okay, so anybody and everybody cannot do this. So anyway, but my objective is to just go through some of the things. So the fundamental part of this book is something called 5 domains. And so David Rogers is saying that digital transformation in organization has fundamentally touched these 5 aspects of a company. Okay, one is the customer, how you handle the customer. Second is how you look at your competition. Third is how you look at your data. Fourth is how you look at your innovation. And fifth is how you look at the value that you're providing to your customers. So this is called the CCDIV framework. As you can understand that if you just put this slide and don't say anything, it looks pretty generic. I mean, what's so different about it? I mean, all along we have been saying that customer is the king. Okay, so what is so different in digital transformation that when we are saying customer is important? Okay, we have been saying that competition is important. What is so different? So at a very generic level, it doesn't seem something very fundamentally different. But yes, as you go deeper into the book, there are certain aspects that David Rogers has spoken about, which probably need some attention and some clarification and some focus. And that's what I have done in these few slides. I've just tried to summarize some of the important points that are there in the book. And if you go to the book, there are some examples also, some of which I'll refer. Otherwise, if those of you are interested, you can refer to the detailed examples in the book. Okay, so so what are the saying? What is he's saying is that when you look at these 5 domains, the fundamental shift that is happening in the digital economy, when you look at an organization working in a digital economy, is that if you look at the customers, your ability to harness customer network. Okay. Why? Because now the customers are also interconnected. Okay. And they are going to influence your business much more than what an isolated customer would have probably done. A very simple example we know for that when you talk about social media today, if if you are thinking of earlier days, if a customer has a complaint, okay, how will a customer complain? Because suppose you are not happy with the product. Okay, suppose you have purchased a television, you're not happy with the product. So where will you complain? Okay. Where do you think will you complain in earlier days? How is the complaint being handled? What do you think?
Earlier days,
We
if it
go
is a
to
known
the dealers
shop.
or the
Yeah,
shop.
so we'll probably go to the dealer, and if you are not getting a solution, then you will probably write a mail to company, right? Correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, and then there used to be that consumer court.
Then after that you can go to litigation. What do you do now?
We give the feedback online or
So
kind
even
of
many
start
times,
giving
many times, even before you go to the dealer, you go to Facebook or Twitter, Insta or Twitter, and talk about your complaint. Okay. Essentially, you're going to the media. Why you could not have done that? Media existed even before the digital world. Why you could not do that in the non-digital space?
Let's reach.
Sorry?
yeah,
They
reach.
reach.
Reach is the outcome, but could you have gone to a media and given your complaint? Reach is after you have given your complaint, then comes the question of reach. But as an individual customer, could you have gone to the media and complained?
Earlier, I
Yes
guess
or no?
accessible.
Sorry?
Earlier, the accessibility and awareness was less, so uh, it was not like like an advertiser also, a client also was not having that engagement by using it. Was just a media to advertise, but now it has become a kind of necessity, and supporting their business
No,
also.
I'm
I
not
could say.
talking about an advertiser. Okay, I'm talking about a normal customer. You have
Yeah.
purchased a television, you have purchased a car, and you're not happy with the car. Could you have gone to the media like a television or a newspapers giving your complaint?
Maybe that would have some limitations on the content and all, sir. Now we are free to update our reviews or anything anywhere.
But would a newspaper or a television accept your complaint or publish your complaint rather in the first place?
No, that was not the
No.
case. Yeah.
Why not?
They might be having some legal like to broadcast the content. They may have some limitations on the contents.
What is the
Legal.
limitation? Facebook doesn't have the limitation, or Twitter doesn't have the limitation. What limitation will print have?
Yeah, but
And the cost associated with it.
yeah,
Absolutely. So this is a physical media. So in physical space is limited, right? One of the fundamental things in digitization of physical assets. Okay, most of you have written everything except that the cost becomes zero. Cost of production and cost of distribution is zero. So cost of production, cost of distribution becomes zero. In media, in a physical media, that's not the case. Space or time is limited. So as an individual customer, even if the media empathizes with you, unless the big problem, a big social problem, okay, or a large number of consumers are affected, you will not see the news in the media. Correct? An individual customer's complaint will not go to the media. Okay. On the other hand, Digital media, the space and time is unlimited almost. The question of legality applies here also. Facebook also will not allow if somebody is kind of spreading some hatred message or something like that. Facebook also will block that account. But Facebook will not disallow you to post because there's only one person who has complained. Print will not, it will not make economic sense for the print media to print one individual person's complaint. So in the digital world, people can go and talk about their complaints, can be positive or negative. It can also be same thing, can also be or positive experience, but people usually write less about their positive experience than about a negative experience. That's a different thing in the digital media than in the print. And then if there is some element in that complaint, element of empathy, or if many other people are feeling the same way, it will typically become viral. Because of this customer network. And this is a dangerous thing for the company because now the complaint of the individual customer has become public. Previously, as long as you were having mail, even if you are in a litigation, it was a private affair between the company and the customer. Other people are not so much aware of it. And this is what David Rogers is calling about harness customer network. Because now the customers are connected. And you must have a different mechanism to do this. What would be the example different mechanism? Now this process, how is the company managing this process? This complaint. In a typical non-digital world, how will they manage? What are the things that will do with
They
the
would
company?
write back to say, they would write back or maybe call back the customer and then try to
So-
resolve the query.
One is the redressal. The complaint is genuine. The company will try to redress. Okay. The other thing that will try to do, so most cases it will do nothing else apart from redressal. And actually, if the company is not redressing the complaint for some reason, the the complainant will have no other option but to go for litigation. There's no other way the complainant can pressurize the company to redress the grievance. And obviously, litigation is not something that you like to go at the drop of a hat. So smaller complaints will always get unresolved. If this complaint is by a larger mass of customers, let's say a huge mass of customers have complained about, let's say, Maggie. Then what does the company do apart from redressal? So redressal can be like taking back consignment of Maggie or providing compensation. Apart from that, what else does the company do when the complaint is by a larger mass of customers? They try to manage the media. Correct. Yes, Are you with me? How do they manage the media? Manage the media means they want to make sure that if it is a very bad news, it doesn't get blown out of proportion by kind of managing the amount of hype that the media can generate. And if the good news, then they would try to amplify through the media. So how does companies how do companies engage with the media for doing this? Which departments in a company manages the media? Most large corporations will have this department to manage the media.
IT.
What is that?
IT. IT.
IT doesn't manage the
Compliance,
media.
PR, PR,
I am
compliance,
not
legal,
talking about the digital
Public
media.
relations.
legal
Public
and
relations.
compliance
Legal
is, yeah,
Public
public
relations. No,
relations.
legal and compliance is different. When it goes to litigation, that's legal and public relation. So public relation department's job is to manage your communication through the media. Okay. How will you manage the media over here? Or rather, how do you, what actions you will take, or what, what will be a strategy when the media is digital? Will the same PR strategy which applies in a conventional media, will the same thing work when it is a complaint in the digital media?
it would be different.
Be
As
different. How
compared
will
to,
it be different?
like in contrast to earlier, so like prior the digital era, it was more of
Yeah,
press release used to happen and PR
right,
companies were
right,
hired to
right,
manage the brand values and all. But now in
right.
digital media, there is a specific digital team who who take care of their media handles and make a note of what kind of communications and feedbacks have been coming on their handles and accordingly change their content.
Okay.
Just
So here, this is where I always say that uh, a deeper understanding is required. Okay, because when you say I have to handle the digital media, question is what is meant by handle? When you say that I have to note down, what is meant by noting down? Unless I have the depth, okay, I'll not be able to, let's say, transform the media handling department from a classical PR department to a PR function, to a function that is aligned to the digital world. Okay, so this is where the depth is required. Now, the depth here is not, we are not, many people think, technology means coding. No, coding is a much lower level. Technology means an overall understanding of the technology components and what components are affecting what. So what is the problem here when you have a digital media? The problem here is this media largely is uncontrolled. Okay, uncontrolled doesn't mean that, let's say if somebody posts on some, some illegal topic, then obviously the media will gag, the digital media will gag. But unlike a physical media where you can control what should be published or what should not be published, kind of influence, if not control, here you can't influence. Anybody can go and write anything as long as it is not illegal, as long as it's not derogatory, as long as it's not against community standards, like somebody is spreading terrorism or talking about drugs or something like that. As long as people are not doing that, I can very well go and complain that my card, so and so company gave a very bad deal for me. Okay. Now, point is that these comments, how do I, first of all, I can't control these comments. So one of the jobs of the PR department is irrelevant here. You cannot control what is being published. in the media, which is one of the primary jobs of the PR department. And if you don't control, then what you can do? You can analyze. Now you said reading. If you think of a brand like Coke or a brand like, MACD, there will be probably thousands of comments all over the world coming every day on good or bad Coke. Is it possible to go through each of them and analyze and classify them that this is a comment which is in praise, this is a comment which is a complaint? The answer is no. Right? There will be so many comments and so many in so many media. And in so many media which you will not even know. You may know Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but you don't know how many influencers are there and how many other websites are there where people may be complaining. So how will you first of all know that somebody has complained? Because unlike the previous case where there is a specific way of complaining, here there is no specific way or specific medium through which people can complain. So how do you solve this problem? How do you analyze? What technology do you use?
Sentiment analysis.
Sentiment comes, yeah, text mining. Now that is digital transformation. That means now the PR department has to know all of this. And then after text mining comes, of course, sentiment analysis. After sentiment analysis, probably will come something called RPA, robotic process automation, where you probably will segregate different types of complaints. Some people are complaining about, let's say, the taste of Coke. Somebody is complaining about unavailability of a particular type of Coke, Diet Coke. Somebody is talking about the plastic bottles are not healthy. The different types of complaint. You have to categorize those complaints, and probably through a robotic process automation, you have to send it to different departments. The respective departments which are responsible for handling those complaints. And then here also there may be complaints may be so large in numbers, or comments, complaints, or even let's say positives. Okay. The fact that people are talking good about it. That is not possible to individually respond. So there you need GenAI, where GenAI will generate responses and send it back to the users. So you need a completely different set of capability for this erstwhile PR department. What are the type of people? What are the skills that you needed in the conventional PR department? What skill sets you needed? If you have to recruit somebody in a PR department, classical PR department, what skill set would you look for?
Communication, negotiation.
Communication, negotiation, connect with the media.
Commanding on.
Yeah, some influence on the media. Most PR guys would have been either from a journalism background or have a good connect with journalist friends, so that they can influence. And what is the kind of skills that you require? Will those skills be relevant for social media? No, because there's no journalist in Facebook, right? Everybody is a journalist. Okay, so those relationships become, do not have any value in the social in the digital media. Instead, you need data scientists. who can do all of these things, text mining, robotic process automation, Gen AI, etc. So total transformation of the department. Okay. So this is what it is talking about, largely David Rogers, that the way you have to handle your customers is very different now because customers are now a network. They're not individual customers. Okay. The second one it is talking about is you have to look at competition differently. You have to look at competition more from a cooperation perspective. So in some way, a particular product may be a competitor. In some other way, it is actually you're working together. And these are called platforms. So today, when you're using, let's say, Microsoft Office on an HP laptop, and you're using Google Chrome as a browser and a Zoom as a way to communicate. So you see, all of these products are individually competitors. Microsoft has Bing. So Microsoft can say that, look, if you are installing Microsoft Office, I will not allow you to use Chrome. Or if you are using, let's say, Microsoft Office, I will not be, I will not allow you to use Zoom. Will that work? That will not work because people want flexibility. Customers want that I should be able to select the specific product which I need. So now, companies tried that to lock in technologies. Like Apple tried that. But then we know now that most of the Apple laptops, you can install Microsoft Office. Okay. Because why this proprietary model did not work in the software domain? Like Microsoft, Apple had their own equivalent of spreadsheet, had own browser. But now Apple laptops work. I mean, Microsoft Office works on Apple laptop. You can work on Excel on Microsoft Office. Why did it not work? Why this proprietorship technology not work? What is the fundamental reason why it did not work? Some principle that we have learned, network effect. I cannot expect everybody to use Apple spreadsheet. So when I am working on a spreadsheet and I want my colleague to collaborate on my spreadsheet, I have to send my spreadsheet to my colleague or probably share the spreadsheet on the cloud so that we can collaborate on the same spreadsheet. So if my colleague has some other device other than Apple, how will they collaborate? So I have to have open systems which can collaborate with each other. These are all platforms. Okay. So far, fine, everybody? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Then it's saying a new component data. In a classical business, data was never considered to be an asset. Today, data itself is an asset, which can be traded, which can be monetized. Any example where companies are monetizing assets? In fact, data as assets. In fact, data has become the primary business model. Any example you can think of where data is the business model, is the primary revenue generating model for companies?
LinkedIn, sir.
LinkedIn, okay. In what way?
Means getting all the informations like their career,
Hmm.
educational details.
Okay. And how are they monetizing that?
Can get the premium access and all, sharing with the
Okay, that's one.
recruitment.
Okay, you can give up paid access where certain data is made available to certain set of audiences. But apart from premium access,
Recruitment process, helping for the recruitments and all, highlighting our profile.
okay, so you're getting paid from the recruiters because you're making such profiles available to the recruiters. That's what you're saying. Yeah. Correct.
Financial review networks, product review platforms which use different reviews and
Product
product review platforms are like
product review
Quality-
platforms. Product review platforms. Okay.
Policy Bazaar or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, call it. Yeah, all of these are valid examples, but the biggest example is Google. What is Google's revenue model? I mean, now, of course, Google has what we call as multi-sided platform, the Hydra model. But to start with, Google was a two-sided platform where one of the sides was advertiser. And how was Google able to provide value to advertiser? By enabling advertisers to target specific audiences. So does Google share the individual information of you and me to the advertisers? What you have been doing on your internet, what I have been doing, does Google share that information? Because then it will be a problem from a privacy perspective. What do you think? How do advertisers target based on Google's data? Do they know exactly what you're doing? What do you think?
Basically, they track what you're
Sorry?
searching for.
What
They
you're
track what
searching
you're-
for. So Google knows what Usha is searching for, what Jogendra is searching for, and gives it to, let's say, Amazon. Okay, Usha, Usha searched for a particular pair of shoes yesterday, so show the ad of these shoes to Usha. Is it like that? Something like that?
So it's like number of reach and all. How many?
No, number of reach will not, but number of reach will not help you to target, right? What Amazon needs, Amazon is telling Google, can you tell me who has searched for shoes so that I can advertise, let's say, a pair of Nike shoes to those people, okay, who have
Yes, sir.
searched for shoes.
Like
Yes, sir.
paid search and all, like boosting the.
Yes.
I think, yes, sir. As you mentioned that, yes, Google and Adobe and all, they do track the customer behaviors and client journey, and they share this data uh, to the advertisers also. And by their way, they retarget those customers and to make those conversions or sales.
Yeah.
And right now, I think there are restrictions are coming. Like Google is coming into a way that he will going to deplete this third-party cookies and all. Like they will not going to keep those cookies and all, which could hamper it and benefit Google only because it's going to reduce those those links which are coming from different platforms, but only the Google will going to be take the revenue out of it.
Okay. Okay, so partly correct, partly incorrect. Okay, so that's why it is very important to understand the technology behind it. First, you have to understand that this data that Google collects about searching and surfing behavior, it is not, it is pseudo-anonymous. So when Usha searched for a pair of shoes or Meena searched for a pair of trousers, Google doesn't know, and Google doesn't intend to know also that is Usha who searched or Meena who searched. All that Google knows is somebody from a particular device and browser search for shoes, and somebody from another device and browser search for trousers. And then Google's algorithm finds out the searching pattern of that device and browser. As you rightly said, this is done through third-party cookies. I'm not getting into the exact technology of it, but just to make sure that you have your concept clear, nobody knows Usha has searched for trousers and Meena has searched for shoes. Nobody means wherever you don't have a social media profile. For example, Facebook will know, because if you in Facebook, you are looking for some pictures of shoes because you have logged on to Facebook's account. But other cases where you're searching and surfing, even you've logged on to your Gmail account and search, Google will not know or Google doesn't intend to know. Google is only interested in what is the searching and surfing behavior from a particular device and browser. And then it not that it gives that information to the advertiser. What Google does is Google uses that data and uses some techniques called classification and clustering. There are some fundamental machine learning techniques. And using those techniques, Google finds out what is the interest demonstrated from a particular device and browser. So Usha's device and browser shows that the kind of interest that Usha has shown indicates that not Usha, but whoever is using this device and browser, this device and browser belongs to somebody who is a travel enthusiast. And then Google tells the travel companies that do you want to target people who are travel enthusiasts? Tells means it doesn't mean that somebody calls up from Google and tells that. Okay. That is, all of this is done through softwares. So there is a software of Google, which is called Google AdSense, where the Google AdWords, which used to be called Google AdWords, now it's called Google Ads, where a travel company will say that I want to show my ad to people who are travel enthusiasts. And Google will get that data and find out which devices and browsers belong to people who are travel enthusiasts. Google doesn't care who is Usha and who is Meena. And shows that advertisement to the device of Usha and Meena without knowing that this is the device of Usha. Okay. So you must be aware of this fact, because otherwise you will have a misconception about what is a third-party cookie and what it does, what it cannot do. To what extent you're exposed, to what extent you are not exposed. Okay. So it's not that all third-party cookies are kind of not accepted. There are some specific types and specific conditions where it's not accepted, which I'll not get into, but you must clear your assumption that it's not the third-party cookies reveal all our personal data. Okay, so this is an example, but that's a different issue altogether. That's the issue of security and of course privacy, and it's an important issue, but point here is that this is an example where a company, entire company, and one of the biggest companies in the world today has actually become a behemoth on the fact that it has been able to use data as an asset. Okay. The third thing is talking about innovation. Innovation was there for a long time, but David Rogers is saying that in digital world, you can innovate by rapid experiments. What is an experiment? An experiment is, let's say, having two different conditions. Let's say I have a website and I am not sure whether I should use a blue color, okay, or even let's say I have this PowerPoint. I'm not sure if I should use this orange and blue combination, or I should use, let's say, something as red and blue combination or red and green combination. Which combination will draw the attention the most? Now, this kind of experimentations were there even in a physical world. Okay. How do you, for example, do an experiment? Let's say when a automobile company comes out with a new model of car, you must have noticed that there is some specific set of colors that the automobile company comes up with. And usually there is you can say a lead color. So all the advertisements will show the red color, and along with that, it will also show some other colors which are available. Same happens with iPhone. You will see that whenever a new model of iPhone comes up, there will be a lead color, let's say white or a pink. Okay, that's the color that is there in most of the advertisements. Other colors are also there, but they are along with it. Okay, how do they decide this color? What color I should go for? What do you think companies will decide a color?
It's like a psychological
So one is,
analysis.
one is some what is called a physics or a not physics, but a science-based approach. Science-based approach means that there may be a formula or there may be some research, not exactly a formula in this case, but a research. Okay, that okay, if it is a if the car is meant for, if the phone is meant for female, the female like pink color. Okay, classical thing, stereotyping. Okay, blue is for male, pink is for female, that kind of thing. There's some research which shows. Okay. So that's one. What are other methods? Do a market risk survey. Right. Similar to the first one, but here you'll probably ask questions. Right. What is the third method? Any other method apart from this? Suppose you have to decide between two colors, black and white. Next, let's say you are launching the next iPhone. You are you have to figure out whether you should go. For simplicity, let's assume that you will launch the iPhone only in one color. That gives you economies of scale. Goes back to the statement of Ford. I can give you car of any color as long as it is black, right? So a single color product gives you economies of scale, and assume that you are come up with only one color and to decide whether it's black and white. How will you decide whether it's black and white apart from the first two options? Is there any other way?
Data,
History
sorry?
of
data pattern, how many people have bought what color in the past?
Yeah, so that's more like a the historical data. Yeah. But let's say this is completely new model and it may not be extrapolated. Okay, the previous model something that worked well, some color that worked well in the previous model did not necessarily work well in the current model. So is there any other way?
Creating new trend.
No. Another way is popularly called A/B testing. Have you heard about this term, A/B testing?
Yeah, this for marketing, digital marketing contents.
But the origin is not digital. Okay, A/B testing is a very fundamental concept where you expose two sets of audiences, same type of audience, with two variation of the same product. So imagine that you have only black iPhones in one store and white iPhones in another store. Assumption here is that both the stores have to have the same homogeneous audience. And assuming everything is same, you find out which store is selling more. That is an A/B testing in a physical sense, but in a physical world. But this kind of experimentation this is called an experimentation. You're experimenting basically. You're not dependent on past data. You're not dependent on market research. You're not dependent on any psychological research. You don't know which one will work, and you are just experimenting with two variants and seeing that, okay, this variant, which variant sells more. But in a physical product, this is difficult. Why? Because you then have to select a wide number of stores to get sufficient number of people. Because these experiments, if you do it to 10 people, it will not be statistically significant. Right? So you need to do it in a large number of stores, sufficiently large number of stores. It's not the whole population. Secondly, you have to ensure that there's a cost to that. Because initially you have to make both white and black color iPhones, which you actually want to avoid. That's the reason why you want to make only one color iPhones. Correct. The second problem, bigger problem is how do you ensure that these two conditions are exactly the same? That means the type of audience coming in one store, which is selling white phones, and the type of audience coming in another store selling black phones are exactly the same. The sameness can be ensured only when the sample size is very large, which essentially means that I'm tending towards the population. I'm doing the experiment on the entire population. Then because the sample size is large, is equal to the population, I can, and it's random, I can assume that both these conditions are same. But then my whole objective of testing, the benefit of testing is negated because I then have to manufacture both black and white phones, at least quite a large number. So it's not possible to do this kind of experiments very rapidly. Maybe once in a while, one case you will be able to do it. But suppose I want to test many other things. I want to test the buttons. I want to test the covers. Okay, I want to test what is the kind of earpods that you should have. If I have to test multiple features of a product in this method, it will be too expensive. On the other hand, in case of a digital product, it's relatively easy. So instead of an iPhone, if it was a website, and I just want to find out whether a theme color of blue of the website and a theme color of let's say black, which of these two theme colors will work better? It doesn't cost me much to create two variants of the website and give 50% of the audience. Again, I can do the testing on the entire population because the cost of replication is zero. Cost of manufacturing and cost of distribution for digital product is zero. It's not that I have to make 1 million black phones and 1 million red phones. Here I will just make variations, which probably will be a few lines of code. And using some tools, I can ensure that 50% of the audience, whoever is seeing my website for next 1 month, 50% will see black color and 50% will see blue color. And then I can decide some parameter on which I'll decide which color is liked by users the more. Parameters can be things like how much time people are spending on my website. Parameter can be how many products people are buying from my website. So this is called A/B testing. It is not just used in digital marketing, it's also used in digital products. And this type of experiments are possible in a digital product. That's why these are called rapid experiments. And you can innovate with rapid experiments because it's possible to experiment with that. Okay, so that's the fourth domain. The fifth domain is about the value proposition that you are providing. What is the value of the product? And this may be fundamentally different in a typical physical world. Okay. What would be a typical example where if I look at a physical equivalent physical product, the value proposition is different. And if I look at a equivalent digital product, the value proposition is different. Can you think of a scenario where the value proposition of an equivalent physical product is different from the value proposition of an equivalent digital product? Anything?
So will this be a example like finding a hotel on Airbnb and Expedia, having a 360-degree view of a location and going there physically and seeing the value of that particular property? Will it be an
Yeah,
example?
360. See, the value of a rented homestay remains the same whether it is a physical product or a digital product. Okay, what is the digital product? The rented accommodation is not a digital product, right? The digital product is the app. Digital product is the app which helps you to discover it.
Right.
And 3D view using, let's say, virtual reality is helping you to assess. So fundamentally, the physical product has not changed. But let's say a camera, a classical film camera versus your mobile camera. What is the key value proposition of your mobile camera? Why do you use a mobile camera? Or today, for example, when you
So
choose a
because of
mobile
its
phone,
accessibility,
sorry,
and the ease of use and accessibility are the two
ease of
reasons why
use,
from
accessibility. Yeah, okay.
and
Okay. So
utility
that,
margin is also high. We
sorry,
can take utility is also very high with the mobile camera because we can take pictures as and when we want. We can store it in our
okay,
device. We can store it in the
okay,
cloud, and
okay,
then it is portable. The most prominent use is that it is portable. We
okay,
can take it anywhere without any hassle.
okay, okay. Now, if I ask the ease of use and portability, even today there are point and shoot cameras. Okay, pretty slim, very slim cameras. I used to have one which you can carry in your pocket. It has been there for quite some time, and people are not using it anymore.
So because
That was
handheld
also have the
cameras or mobile
advantage,
phone cameras come with a different. They are available with other uses also. It's
like,
just not camera. There are editors available within the phone device. You can open the image which is taken recently, and then you can edit it and further publish it in a
and
different
then
format.
share it.
Share it.
You are using a mobile camera primarily because of the ease of share of the pictures. If you are taking a picture, if you've gone somewhere and taken a picture, one of the value that you want to derive from it is by quickly sharing it with your friends and families and getting likes and comments. That is what is giving your kick. I may get a very small camera also, maybe smaller than a mobile phone. Such cameras are available. Okay. So the entire value proposition of a camera has changed. Okay, so that is what is meant by when you are adopting to the value proposition that you are giving. The value proposition of a camera is no longer just taking the pictures. The value proposition of the entire product is taking the picture, facility to edit it, facility to enhance it, and facility to share it. So in a digital business, this is becoming very, very important. And how do you pivot your value or how you enhance your value? Okay. So these are the strategic themes of these 5 domains that David Rogers is talking about. Okay, so far fine, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at so each one of this, so he has elaborated each of these further. Okay, each of these elements further. So for customer, he says that from customer as a mass market to customers as a dynamic network. Communication are broadcast to customers. Communication is two-way. We have discussed this. Customers become the key influencers. The influencing is in the hands of the customer. Marketing to persuade purchase, marketing to inspire purchase, loyalty and advocacy. So it is more like, inbound kind of marketing that is coming up. So you cannot, hard sell to people anymore. You have to make the communication subtle so that when the people need it, they will come to you. Okay. One-way value flows versus reciprocal value flows. Okay. One-way value flows, you are getting value from the customer. Customer is paying you money. But then you have to, of course, you're giving the product, but now you have to give back something else. Loyalty points. Okay. Celebrating customers. Okay. And then it's talking about economies of the scale of the firm versus economies of the scale of the customer's value. Okay. How many types of values you can provide to the customer? It's not just one value which is taking photograph. It is not just one value of searching. You are using Google. Are you using Google only for searching? No, you're using Google for searching. You're using Google for mails. You're using Google for storage of your data. So economies of value is not economies of scale. It's not just a number of customers that you're acquiring. It is the amount of increasing number of services that you are providing. Okay. Now, this is a very, very important concept. Are you aware of this concept called AIDA? It's a very, very old funnel. It's called a funnel. Awareness, interest, desire, and action. Now, this is the modified. So action is here. So obviously, there's the lowest level. And then it becomes like this. So once you have the loyalty, then you have more number of, the number of purchases increase. So if there's one purchase, same customer will purchase 10 times. That's loyalty. And then the same customer will talk to other customers and they will purchase, and this will lead to 100 purchases. This is the advocacy. So today's AIDA funnel is more like this. Okay. And this is where you have to, so advocacy is largely based on the digital handles that you provide to the customer to advocate your product. Okay. Are you aware of this term called lifetime value? Customer lifetime value? Yes, no.
Heard of it, but can't really explain it properly.
Sorry?
Sir, does it mean that what it would cost to host that customer with a particular product or a service forever? I mean, maintaining a relationship with a customer, does it mean that?
Yeah, kind of that. Okay, so let's say I have a customer A and a customer B. Okay. So let's say customer A purchases for 10,000 rupees. Let's say there's a hotel. Okay, so customer A books a 10,000 rupees room and customer B books a 3,000 rupees. So if I look at a customer value perspective, customer A is more valuable than customer B. But let's say customer A comes only once a year and books 10,000 rupees room for one night. Whereas customer B comes 5 times a year and every time he or she books a room of 3,000 rupees. So now we are talking about customer lifetime value, because if I look at customer lifetime value, customer B will become more valuable than customer A. And this can continue for what is called the expected life of the customer. How long will A stay with me? How long will B stay with me? And there are ways by which you can calculate, again based on analytics, where you can calculate the lifetime value. Okay. Now, what is this customer engagement value? Customer engagement value means that how is one customer, and that's where the network of customer comes in, influencing another customer. Let's say A is very active on the social network. B is not. And because of A's activism in the social network, C comes to your hotel and takes a 5,000 rupees room 2 times a year. So now you have the engagement value of A. A is providing an engagement value. Okay. So far fine, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This is called customer engagement value. So this customer engagement value is more and more becoming relevant in the digital space. Now here, David Rogers is talking about 5 customer network behaviors. And these are the 5 behaviors. Some of them we have already discussed a little bit, but these are the main behaviors: access, engage, customize, connect, and collaborate. Access to your customers. Previously, how did you access your customers? Again, if you had phone numbers, mails, occasionally as a company, you'll probably connect with the customer, or the customer will connect to you if there's a complaint on mail or phone. That was the only access. Now every customer expects that you have a social media handle where they can communicate. They expect that a company should have a Twitter handle, an Instagram handle, Facebook page, etc., where if they have any suggestions, if they have any complaint, they should be able to write there. Okay. engaging with the customers.
That has become a norm. Like every
That has
company
become
must have
almost a
all this.
norm, right? Yeah,
It
that
used
has
to be
almost
like
become a norm.
good to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Now is no longer good to have.
Just
It
like
has
Kano
become a
model,
norm.
we discussed about
Yeah. So it's
what
kind of
was a
it.
good thing to have and now a
Yeah.
must have.
Yeah. So now, so what was an attractive feature now has become a must-have feature.
Yes.
Correct. So if as a customer I don't find a Facebook page or an Instagram account of a brand, I'll probably doubt the credibility of the brand.
Yeah. Many a times we don't even attempt to buy from these companies who do not have an online presence or something.
Yeah, you don't trust those companies. There's a trust deficit on those companies who are don't have an adequate social media presence. Not only adequate social media presence, you typically see what is the engagement level. That means the second part, how many likes their Facebook page has, how many followers they have, how many posts, are their posts regular, are their posts, what kind of posts they're making, is it rich in content, okay, is it regularly posted, is it relevant for you? So companies are trying to engage with the customers through the digital media. It's much easier to engage. For example, contests. There are various kind of contests that can be organized on digital. So this is becoming important. Any example of customization?
But didn't get that question actually.
Any example of customization in the context of a network behavior? Have you been
So
experiencing some customization?
in network behavior,
Hmm?
as in some artificial thought or idea being planted into the network so that it spreads out uh, uniformly. Does it mean, does that what you mean?
No, I'm asking you that what is meant by this customization?
Migration. But what I understand is that network has to be a kind of organic activity and it happens by itself. That network forms by itself. And whatever flows into that network is also natural or organic in nature. I mean, customization is something which might be there, but it will be an artificial kind of a flow. Maybe a complex way of how the network behaves. Not sure exactly if that's what comes out of. This.
Okay. Hmm.
So because customization of product I have heard of, customization of service also I've heard of.
It
But
can be,
when
it
it
can
comes to
be, yeah. No, see, this is not talking about the, customizing the network. It's talking about certain network behaviors that is providing these characteristics of the customer.
no idea. But
So if I
Something
have a, yeah,
persona,
hmm?
sir, persona of
Yeah, the persona is a way of defining, what is a persona, by the way?
so, like segmenting a group of type of categorizing a
So
type of people.
so segmentation has been there. Okay. So what is segmentation and how is segmentation different from a persona?
Segmentation is it would be with a proper rule and all. Like
Okay.
if yeah, but persona is like a different characteristics together. We will be creating a persona. Like if some type of characteristic they would fit into this category, and it may be having different segments.
So this is not a part of, this is part of a marketing subject, but I'll tell
Yeah.
you what is the difference between persona.
Is it like if you go for a hospital services or
Hmm,
a specific, even
hmm,
for that matter, Spotify, right? You can do your personal list of songs, and that gets basically depending on that you what kind of genre of song.
Yeah, that is the
That
customization part. Okay, I was coming to that. That is the customization part. Okay, but
okay.
I'll tell you about the persona is nothing to do with this thing. Okay, I'll tell you, but just to clarify your concept. Okay, because people use this term persona very loosely. It has, so some of these terms have become buzzword, and many people use this without probably understanding the fundamental uh, logic or fundamental definition of that. Okay. So I'll come to that, though it is not a part of this course per se. Okay, but since you mentioned persona, then it's very important to know what is the difference between a normal segment and a persona. I'll talk about that. Okay, but here the customer. So what is the what is this talking about? When a customer network behavior and customer. So customization means you are customizing your product or service based on certain behaviors demonstrated by the customer in the network. For example, let's say, and some of you might have taken digital marketing course. In digital marketing, you can target people who are similar to certain types of. So, where, or let's say, who are friends of certain type of people in the social media. So, I want to target people who are friends of people who are travel buffs. Why? Because I think that I have already targeted those who are travel buffs. I want to expand my market, and I feel that friends of people who are travel buffs are also likely to get encouraged by my product or service. Now, how do I identify people who are friends of the people who are travel buffs? From the network behavior. And accordingly, I am pushing those type of product suggestions to them. Many of your entertainment apps, they push movies based on the network behavior that you are demonstrating among your connected community. For example, your family members. Okay, so what kind of movies, let's say your immediate family is watching, based on that, you are suggested movies. Because it's expected that you will be watching the similar movies as your other family members. So that is how customization happening in using the network behavior. Okay. Now coming to just to clarify what is a persona. See, you are kind of close saying that segmentation is a structured way of dividing your total population. So if I have certain parameters, certain attributes like age, gender, okay, income, okay, and I have different groups, different buckets of age, let's say 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, and 65 plus. I have gender, let's say male, female, and I have income, let's say high, medium, low. I will have how many segments? How many segments total I'll have in this case? Should be easy. Yes, no. How many segments?
Yes, sir.
How many segments you'll have? Calculate the number of segments.
36.
Something
36.
36. How do you get 36?
So there are 6 different age groups
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
and 2 different genders. So if I consider
12.
same age groups for 2 different multiplied by 3, I got 36.
So these are structured way of dividing your customer. But if I say something like, I want to target young mothers concerned about nutrition in the diet of their children, the babies who are, let's say, young working mothers are less than 6 months old. So now, if you, this is definitely a target segment, but if you want to convert this into some structured features, you'll find it difficult. It is not clearly identifiable features like age, gender, income, etc. These characteristics cannot be divided clearly into features. This is a persona. So persona is an unstructured segment. Segment is structured. It's like a, structured data versus unstructured data. You have specific attributes and your specific possible values. You have fixed number of segments that you get. And then you can say that my target group is a certain, this is my TG, a certain part of my set of segments is my target group. That is how classical segmentation works in marketing. But if I have to find the nuances of my customer preferences, this classical method of segmentation may not be good enough. It may not capture all the nuances of a customer, where you need to provide the preference of a customer in a unstructured manner. So that's the person. Okay. And yes, personas can, because now you are able to analyze the unstructured data as well. In a digital media, it is much easier to customize based on this persona rather than based on the segment. Clear? So far, fine? Everybody? Great.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So now, connect. So I think we have discussed a little bit about access and connect, very similar. And finally, collaborate. In fact, all of these things, David Rogers has detailed out what exactly is meant by a connect, okay, what is a collaborate, what is an engage. Okay. Collaborate means that you are collaborating with your customer to co-create your product. So now that you have access to customer, you have access to their ideas, you can engage them to suggest product improvement. This was never the case in a pre-digital age because it was not possible, at least at scale, to find out the suggestions of the customers and involve them in the product development. Occasionally we'll do it, probably we'll have focus group and all those things, but it was not possible to do it at scale. But with digital, it is possible to collaborate with customers on that scale, so much so that they can actually co-create the design of the products with you. So you see some of these components that are discussed over here. For example, in access, things like mobile commerce, omni-channel experience. What is, by the way, omni-channel experience?
Sir, which includes both offline and online ways of interaction to engage with customers.
Yes,
Same
and
experience
integrate. Yeah.
across all the
Sorry.
channels. Similar or same experience across all the channels for the customer.
Not necessarily same experience. Here the question is that customers' buying process, the buying journey, can be both digital and physical. For example, a typical customer's buying journey is what? Let's say discovery. You discover a product. You research a product. Okay. Then you, let's say, order for a product. Okay. Then
Awareness,
you,
consideration, decision, retention,
so
and
yeah, you can before discovery, you can also have awareness. So this discovery is more like awareness. Okay. You pay for the product and then you, let's say, experience the product. Experience the product. Okay. And now see, classically, all of this process was physical. You discover by going to a store, or your friend tells you, or you see a newspaper ad. You research the product, which product is better, whether you should go for this car or that car. How do you research? You again kind of visit the showroom of multiple cars. You talk to the salesman, talk to your friends, research. You go to the store and order for the car. Once the car comes, you pay for the car, and then you experience the car and you talk about your experience with your friends. If they ask you which car to buy, you will share your experience. So this was entirely the physical process. Now, each of these has their digital touch points. My discovery can also be digital. For example, I can discover a new brand of car in YouTube. Some influencer has spoken about it. I'll research the car on the physical, on digital. Okay. I can order the car on digital, pay also on digital mode. Experience, of course, I'll drive the car in the physical mode, but I'll talk about the car in the digital mode. So I have a parallel digital channel. And omnichannel means that there is a fluid experience between the physical and digital. I can move seamlessly between these two channels. For example, I can see a new car in the airport launched, and I can trace that car in the social media and let's say in Car-Deco or something like that, and start looking at the feedback, or in YouTube looking at the influencer, and then go to the showroom, do a test drive and order for the car, come back and pay online when the car is delivered, and then again experience the car physically and then talk about the car both physically as well as in the digital media. So I have to have a seamless experience. I should be able to move seamlessly between the physical and the digital channel. That is the omni-channel experience. So some people think omnichannel is just about retail. That means, you can buy in store as well as you can buy online. Let's say a laptop, you can buy, you can go to the HP store and buy, as well as you can order on Amazon. That's only a part of it. Omnichannel experience means throughout your discovery to experience cycle, you have a seamless movement from one channel to the other. Okay. Working in the cloud, we understand. So everywhere you can while you're mobile, you can work from the cloud, and that gives access. Any product is able to access the customer through that means. On-demand service. Any example of on-demand service from a customer's perspective, customer's access perspective? What is an on-demand service, by the way?
The service available as and when required by the customer.
Okay. On-demand service means unbundling of service.
Not necessarily bound to a particular purchase for product.
No, I mean, not necessarily basically your ticket size. is reduced. So if I'm buying a CD, I cannot unbundle it, right? If there are 10 songs in the CD, and if there are only 2 songs that I want, I have to buy all 10. I can't say that only these are the 2 songs that I want and I'll use them. Okay. If I want to watch a movie, I cannot say that, look, I watch the first half an hour of the movie and then I'll decide whether I should watch or not watch. But today, in the OTT platforms, you do exactly that. You play only one song, whichever song you want. Okay, there is one episode which is free. You watch that episode and then you decide whether you should go for a subscription or not. Okay. Engage strategy. The product demo was something much more difficult to do in a physical product. Now for a digital product, almost all products will have a trial version, which can use for 30 days. That's a demo. Even when you're engaging, let's say, enrolling in a course like this, many of the institutes will have demo classes, pre-recorded classes. So you can have an idea about what kind of subjects they're teaching, what kind of faculty they have, etc. The importance of storytelling has improved, because now, let's say, if you look at a YouTube video ad, those if you have done, did you have any course on digital marketing? Yes or
We
no?
had a course of marketing and digital customer experience. These 2 courses we had.
Okay, but not digital marketing.
Not digital marketing.
Okay. So in digital marketing, if you look at one of the things that you might have seen in the YouTube in-stream advertisements. In-stream advertisement means the advertisement that you see typically before or sometimes the middle of the actual video that you want to watch. So those are called in-stream advertisements. Usually after 5 seconds, there's a skip button, but some ads can be without skip. Okay, also. Now, there is something called sequence of ads. So I can create a ad sequence of 5 ads. Each one, I mean, these 5 ads together tell a story like this, like a your in a OTT platform, what you have a web series, right? So it's like a web series of ads. Okay, and it can be designed in such a way and can be delivered in such a way that, let's say, I see the first series. I here means, remember, most of the cases you are identified by the device and browser based on the cookies. So I've seen the first series of the ad, and next time when the ad comes for the same product, it shows the second series of that ad, like a web series. So you can gradually reveal the story of your brand. Okay, so that is another interesting thing that are coming up in terms of engaging. Utility. What is the value that you are providing to, let's say, as I said, that is, let's say, I can give one course completely free, and that gives the utility. So that helps the customer to know the utility of the product. Brand as a publisher. Brand as a publisher means that brand itself is, let's say, a Facebook page, or even a website or an app. If you look at the classical media, in a classical media, you have only 2 options: paid media and earned media. These are only 2 ways by which you can publish your brand's story. Paid media is an advertisement where you pay to, let's say, a newspaper or television to showcase your brand. Any example of an earned media?
So through influencers.
Not digital, physical laptop.
Okay.
In physical, what would be an example of an earned
Word
media?
of mouth. Word of mouth.
Word of mouth can be, yes. Any other? News.
Community. Community.
News, digital, those are digital news article. Yes, you can have a physical community also, but that is very small. In a physical world, your brand's news, suppose your brand has done something good, your brand's news can be covered in a news article. Correct? So that is an earned media. But there is something called own media as well. Own media means you yourself own the media, or there's also something called shared media. That means you share the media with somebody or you own the media. This is called the peso model. It's a very famous model called peso model. In the physical world, there was no shared and owned media. Can you think of a brand which is owning a media? Not like I may be a brand which is kind of which has media as a business. I'm not talking about that. Let's say something like Dove or something like Coke owning a media. In the physical world, have you seen such example?
At max in physical world, we can say that they were distributing pamphlets
Yeah,
or maybe
pamphlets.
so,
Some
yeah,
companies will have newsletters
yeah.
for their internal circulation. Okay, only that much. Because as a brand, even if you own the media, you can't distribute it. Distribution, that is not your business. You're not a newspaper. You can't distribute it to the larger audience. At best, you can distribute it to your own employees or maybe some customers. That's it. So in the traditional world, you have mostly the paid and the earned media. But in the digital world, you have this own media like website, Facebook page. Now, moment you have own media, you can yourself become a publisher. So it has enabled brands to be publishers. This peso model, rather the shared and owned media, has enabled brands to be publishers. Okay. Customized strategy. Yes, I think I missed this recommendation engine. That's another great example of customization. We talked about it very briefly in the Spotify, but let's say even in Amazon, when you see products, you have recommendation engine. Personalized interfaces. So when you see a news portal, okay, in a classical newspaper, what happens? The sports news always is at the back page. The entertainment news is always in page 3. But I may be a person which is a sports lover and I want to read the sports news first. For me, the political news is of less importance. I don't mind if the political news in the last page. But a printed newspaper can't do that. Printed newspaper will go by the mass market. What is majority? For majority the political news is important. They'll always put the political news in the first page. But when you see a news portal can be customized based on your reading habits and those news which you are more interested in will be shown at the top of the page. Personalized products and services, personalized message and content, they're all examples of customized strategy. Okay. These are connect strategies, social listening. We talked about social listening. This again, sentiment analysis, all of these are social listening. Social customer service, which is through the social media, joining the conversation when the customers are talking. Many times you see the customers in a Facebook page when they're writing, the admin of the page will join in, asking for ideas, hosting a community, things like Facebook groups. There can be community groups encouraged by the brand. Okay. And then this collaborative strategy, passive contribution, active. Passive contribution are indirectly people are talking about providing suggestions. Active contribution means people are being encouraged to provide product design ideas, crowdfunding, funding some of the startup ideas, open competition. Because many times the logos of companies, people are especially startups, they're opening it up for people to create logos. Okay. Different collaboration platforms where people can share suggestions. So all of these things are happening because of the digital, because it's possible to do all of these things in the digital world. Okay, so this is what it is talking about, what David Rogers is talking about, the first element, which is the customer. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll quickly go through the other 4 elements in the next class, and I'll leave this PPT with you. And so even if you don't have the book, if you go through this PPT, you will have a summary of the book. Okay. Any other questions? Correct. Fine. So we'll close here and just yeah, and just keep in mind the points that we discussed as far as the end term is concerned. Okay, that will always help.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Stop the recording.